Hey everybody, hope everyone's had a great day so far. Mine's been pretty good. I guess let's just get right into it. So yesterday we finished up most of the loading scene, but we were trying to tie up loose ends, specifically error handling and then timeouts. So let's see, what have I done here? We had this, so I created, I need to do server side and client side error broadcasts. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that now. And as far as I know, we can use a lot of this. You can copy from the play manager, or the play error check. Let's see. So I'll use it as a template and work from there. So we need this. Okay, no, we don't need that, actually. This is actually the asset loading controller. Music up just a bit. Okay, and so we do need to know, I guess, if we're connected, because if we're not connected, we just wouldn't even send the error. So let's get my connection. Is that the right thing? What's it called? It's my connection something. Connection watcher, okay. Okay, we don't really need to register for anything. This is in global comp, so it always happens. So let's see, what else do we need to change? Okay, I need to rename this. It's not matching up. Alright, and then here, this is a little different. It's a message, then mod loading exception, and loading components, and what do we call this, I think? And then we still want to subscribe. It's a simple listener of the mod load exception argument. Okay, so what else? So this will actually do on exception. I'll go ahead and create that. What this will first do is we'll print it to Unity. So debug, or Unity engine, debug, log, error, and then it's object dot decorated message. Oh no, it's just message. Okay. So we can do log exception, I guess. That way we can get the call stack. And then we would try to send the message at this point. So if connection is connected state is int my connection state connected, then we'd send the error. Let's copy this over. And another thing we need to do is we need the message which calls this function here. What is the message? Alright, this is that. That's easy. I just copied that code. Let's see what else I need to do. Alright, so after we do that, we call on. Okay, well actually before we send the message we should call notify error. Just to make sure the state change happens before we send this. We should probably also get the loading phase. Because if we're already in the here's what I wanted. In the error phase, then oops. Then we know we don't need to send an error again. But we can still print it out, I guess. So if phase is not equal loading phase error, then we'll do this. Okay, and this other code was from. Okay, so we do need this part because this is where we get the error from the server. So, okay, so server error. Okay, and this will be, let's call this on local error. Here. Okay, so we don't really need to call this get our register, we should just call notify error really. Okay, so if server error type is loading, and we'll send that. Also, yeah, we should make sure we're in the correct phase. Okay, so I think we're all good here. Okay, so on the asset loading controller, I need to create this new class. Okay, and last but not least, I want to make sure that nothing else subscribes to this mod load exception. So organizer. Yeah, I can just send it, but it doesn't subscribe. Same here. Okay, yeah, 'cause I think I changed most of them so that they subscribe to this dispose assets instead of the error directly, which is what I want to happen. Okay. That's all good. Right, so pretty much done here, but I guess I should leave it to make sure it all works. So let's press play and see what happens. Yeah, no, that's unreachable, it's okay. Okay, yeah, so we got an error and sent it. Oh, but it's the wrong type. That's okay. And it just exited. reachable. That's okay. So I need to change this type to loading. Okay, but I don't... Does the server take care of this already? It might. Down here. So loading, ready checks. This is just a ready check, it's not the errors. Alright, so basically if it just sees an error, it just automatically broadcasts them all. Oh, that's right, because the type of error is not necessarily locked to a specific phase, because for instance, like if a client is trying to rejoin a game after being disconnected, they could get a loading error, and then the other clients would then get that error while they were in the play phase, so that's why it just accepts all of them here, which is fine. I guess then maybe here we shouldn't really care about the type of the message, which is probably fine. Okay, so let's try again and then just make sure. Okay, this server did relay it. I didn't notice that until just now. And then we entered back into the lobby, but as I said before, the lobby's not set up to handle that, so that's okay. So one thing that should happen is when the server receives an error, it should exit back into the lobby phase itself. That might actually be why the lobby phase wasn't working. Let's see. Trying to decide where we should do that. So loading ready check, that's what changes the phase in this way. I guess there's no real problem within here, just inserting some code that says if in the loading phase, and we'd exit back to the lobby. I guess I'll just go ahead and do that. I mean, I guess if there's ever a problem, we can change that. I wanted the main phase actually. Okay, so okay, well I already had this on error. Let's see. End play phase. Okay, so there's another class that takes care of this. So maybe... yeah, I probably should do it a different way as well. Okay, so let's see. So far the only class that does any loading is this ready check manager. We can probably just add that into here. because loading phase is pretty simple for the server. So we want this on here. And subscribe, new simple listener. So on error. Okay, oh, it does have another type. Oh, okay, it has the error status type. So error type. Let's move this down a bit. Alright, so we don't really care about the error type if we're in the loading phase. So if main phase dot state equals int server phase loading, then we just change the main phase to lobby. Okay, so let's see what happens now. Okay, yeah, so now you can see it keeps looping from the server and then just immediately starts loading again and gets that error. Which, yeah, that's what I thought would happen, so it seems a problem. It was just that the server wasn't accepting the correct ready check. Okay, but obviously we don't want that to happen. So probably how I'll do it just for now, until we get a proper lobby scene, is I just won't load the lobby after we get an error. Yeah, so now it says server main phase lobby. Okay, so yeah, that's all good. Alright, so I guess now we're done with error handling. Okay, so mod load manager. Yeah, we need to do this, but I think I'll wait for now. Loading timeouts, let's see. So I'll just make another class here. Oops, sorry about that. This is basically so that if one client somehow gets stuck in an infinite loop, everybody wouldn't just stay and wait for them and they'd just be kicked eventually. So let's see. I think I'll start on the server actually. Okay, so I did play timer. So I want to do something kind of like this. But it'll be slightly more. It'd be nice if I could just have this class do timers for everything, but. So we have this on timeout. Oh yeah, not. It's basically just so that the server can know to switch phases when there's a timeout. Okay, Okay, so this has only the play phase. But I want to use something basically the same. Okay, well, I can just extend this to use the other phases. Rename play phase and load phase. Okay, so let's see. So I need to subscribe to the other phase handlers now. Okay, so this will be a slightly more what's the word? Complicated now. Oops. So first let's extract this method, and this will check for any client disconnected. So here we can just return true now. And then we want to see private bool in timed phase. So we'll switch the main phase first of all. Oh yeah, it's called the server phase now. So if we're in play, then I just want to make sure that the play phase has actually been set, so I'll do that. Same here, except it'll be loading phase state does not equal server loading phase none. And so for anything else, it's not timed, so return false. In fact, I don't think we actually need to subscribe when the main phase changes, only when one of these other two does. Okay, so ticking helper is active if any client disconnected is false and in timed phase. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let me change this type. We'll also have load assets. And then I guess map generation and map check. So I guess this isn't just a play timer manager now. Presumably this isn't just ready checks. This is like the loading message manager, so I'll just do that. Okay. So back to this. First we'll switch the main phase again. Okay, so if it's play, then we have this code. Otherwise, well, hopefully it's unloading. No, I want server loading phase. Okay, so first we'll do load assets. I guess we might as well just do all of them right while we're here. Okay, so generate map. Okay, that's taken care of. So, yeah, we need to figure out what the period should be. Right now it's kind of lazy and it's looked at every frame. Also, do I ever set this timer to 0? Okay, I do. So let's say private float max time. I don't think I use this, do I? Let's call figure max time. Pull this out. Okay, so max time equals choose period. Other period. I'm gonna need a certain amount of time also for all these loading periods, so I think I'll just do one. Like at some point I need to have a way to configure this, but okay. So switch again, server phase. Oh, I just started. It's funny, it was so sunny a second ago and it just started raining. Shouldn't affect the stream. Just a little surprised. Okay, so equals loading period. Alright, and then server phase play. Oh, I forgot the case. Shift tab. And then we can move this up here. And then if it's anything else, we'll just set max time, I don't know, something very large. The timer shouldn't tick during these other phases, but just in case. I can clean this code up. See if timer is greater than or equal to max time. Okay, so I think now this is set up for everything. Okay, so I just need to go back to the loading manager and subscribe to the timeout message. Okay, so timeout message type. And on timeout. Generate this. It'll basically work the same as on error. So timeout message would already been sent down to the client, so we don't have to worry about dealing with that. If we really wanted to, we could look through the ready check and see which clients haven't set their ready and force disconnect them, but not sure if that's needed. Really, we just want to see if this is a timeout type we care about. So switch timeout type. Oops. Load assets, map gen, or map check. I guess we should also check to make sure we're in the loading phase. Yeah, but if we time out, we just go back to the lobby, and everybody else should follow us there. Okay, so now the server side is done. Okay, so I'll go to the client side. Basically just be, let's see. Not sure how I did this in the play scene. Okay, I did have a timeout manager. So I guess I'll use it as a base. So let's see, on the loading flow phase, or loading flow manager. Let's see, okay, I haven't implemented that yet. Okay, well I shouldn't just call error because actually, well, if we get a timeout from the server, then we'd want to re-enter the lobby, but if we get our own timeout, we would want to exit back to the title screen. So maybe it should be something like, I don't know, local timeout manager, and then we'll have to make a remote timeout manager for the server. So this is asset loading controller. all these. Load components. It's just phase. Choice timeout. Okay, that's still different. So we'll want our own message, which would be notify timeout. So just say on local timeout. Okay, and we won't do this part yet. Okay, so private, ticking janitor. Okay, what's it complaining about? Oh, there we go. Game and this. Oh, wait. Need to implement the interface, of course, to get updates. And we'll have to have our timer here. Float timer. And then for now, I'll just make a private constant for the timeout period. 10 is fine. Right, controller, activable list, add, and then decoupler. So yeah, we don't. I guess we do care about the phase. So tick helper false. Oh, not active. It's force inactive, and we set that to true actually. And then I need to subscribe to this phase change. Alright, state. Okay, so tick helper dot force inactive equals, so loading phase. So we should do this differently, I think. I think we need to bring out a switch statement. So true. So it's active during load assets, organize assets, and also the server synchronized phase at the beginning. Any other time, we don't want to be able to get timeouts. Right. And so whenever this is active, this function will be called, so do timer plus equals delta time. And then if timer is greater than or equal to the period, we would then call notify timeout. And when we call that, the load flow manager needs to deal with it. So on the local timeout. And I think it'll basically be like this on error. Except we can get rid of that. Except we would change this to disconnect. Okay, so I guess how I'd actually do this is I would call the networking unity link for stop client. Yeah, because we just want to disconnect from the server if we get a local timeout. Okay, well, let's see what happens. When I disconnect the client, it should call this, which would take care of all this for us. Okay, so new local timeout manager. Okay, so I'm going to set the timeout period to 1 to see what happens. Oh, I actually sent that error, so loading phase went to disconnect after the error. Which is kind of weird because the timer should have stopped. So let's see. Maybe I did that backwards. Where is it? Local timeout manager. Oh yeah, I did do it. Because here, force inactive, it's false. Alright. I guess let's try that again just to see what happens, but I need to remember to get rid of that error exception that always gets thrown. Okay, so yeah, it did get deactivated correctly that time. This is set organizers. Let's get rid of this. Okay, so I guess it loads everything too fast. So I need to make the timeout very quick. So I guess 1/10 of a second will work. It's not committed. Okay, so that time, yeah, I didn't finish loading anything. Alright, and the server sent timeout. Let's see what this error is. Okay, that's strange. Oh, well, the reason is because yeah, the way this worked is a little weird because we disconnected from our server, but we're the host, so yeah, I really need to create the second player, I think, to test this well, because disconnecting as the host doesn't really make any sense because you basically are the server, but so that's a good point, actually. So what would we do here if we're the host, actually? I guess we just wouldn't disconnect, but we would just close the server. Okay, so how do I tell if I'm a server or not?
Yo, stop clock rewind the blaze of speed. Ain't none of you suckers gonna catch up to me.
So local connection. Okay, so if local connection is host, okay. Otherwise, we'd stop client. What is it? What do I call here? Start client. Okay, I have this force stop server, but it's not static, so static. Does that not work? Oh, it's capital I. Force stop server. Okay, so let's try this again and see what happens now. Okay, so we get a ton of errors. Oh, it's because I forgot to get the local connection. Let's do it right here. Equals controller, game, components, get. Oops, that's not the right thing to do. And will I remember, I need to change in the master asset loader. Instead of just calling destroy, I need to call destroy immediate. I guess I also had this asset destroyer class because apparently I saw that one error that Unity won't destroy an asset to prevent memory loss, but we do want to destroy it, so. Okay, so what happened here? Phase none, type active, main phase lobby. Okay, so I think what happened. What's this? Okay, so it's telling me that there's no connections. So let's see. Let's make this a little clearer so I don't get confused again. So client count equals 0. We'll just append none. So I'm trying to see what happened here. Oh, here's another one of those errors. So destroy immediate. I did say destroy immediate. Oh, we have to append true to it. So very picky. Without destroying assets. So asset destroyer, need to do that. As well as the master asset loader. Okay. So client connection, yeah, so we get disconnected. Okay, and then nothing happens. The server just switches to the lobby, because I guess the server is still running. Yeah, there's a play phase. I guess I should really set server phase to inactive if it has no connections. Doesn't it? Yeah, on stop. At this point, it should set its phase to none. Okay, let's see what happens now. I'm beginning to think I may need to have like a central phase advancer on the server. Timer true, 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 false. Play phase none, main phase none, okay. So that looks all good. Let's get rid of this timer active. So I'm cluttering up the log. Connections none, yeah, so that's correct. Okay, so it works for this client. Alright, so now let's do... So when we receive a timeout from the server, not play phase, we don't really want to time out. We don't want to disconnect from the server, we just want to move back to the lobby. So I think at this point I'll basically just handle it the same way as an error. Okay, so now we can copy this. Okay, so we can just change this to on timeout. Don't really need a phase thing here. Well, I guess we kind of do. Because if we're in the error phase and we receive a timeout, we don't really care about it. Oops. And this is the asset loading controller. these two. Okay, so this is on remote timeout. To use that. Alright, so I guess I only care about this timeout if it's a load assets timeout. And then if phase.state equals so let's see. I guess I should do a switch here as well. Switch. Loading phase. Alright. So load assets, organize assets, and then the server synchronize. So we receive the timeout message at any time here. We would want to call on timeout send. Alright, so let's add this class to the loading controller. And then the loading flow manager. And the remote timeout will basically be exactly the same as this on error. Okay, so now let's make the local timeout manager have a very long period. So 60 seconds. Should probably be even longer. Let's see. The 600, that's 10 minutes. I mean, that's probably way too long, but let's settle on 100. And then let's make that timeout on the server pretty short. That might not even be long enough. So basically I want it to send pretty much right away. Okay, but something did not work right, so let's see. Server, okay, it did send the timeout, but it sent it too early. Okay, so yeah, this isn't a problem. Okay, because it happened the exact same frame, and the client hadn't even switched over to the next phase yet. So I just need to basically have it wait 2 frames. So what happened this time? Okay, so it did, yeah, it only waited 1 frame that time. So I'll try a 10th second. It's still just going too quick, isn't it? Let's see. Okay, no, it didn't go too quick. It's just the game didn't even care about it. Alright, so let's see why that is. Okay, did I guess I didn't set the right key on the flow manager. Oh yeah, they're both local timeouts. That's the problem. So nothing was subscribing to the remote timeout message. Okay, yeah, so now it's error and it cleaned up everything. Alright. Hi, Dylan and Knight. Thanks for stopping by. Let's set this back. Give 30 seconds. So now we went all the way through to the map generation. Okay. How am I doing? Oh, not too bad. Let's see. Just got some tater tots for supper, so hard to not have a bad day after that. How are you? Or hard to not have a good day after that. I guess the exact opposite. Alright, so we just finished timeouts. Research to see if there's a way to convert. Okay, so we kind of figured this out, but I'm not sure if it actually works. Yeah, tater tots are great, one of my favorites. I've never really been big on French fries, but I've always loved them. Love tater tots, I mean. Which is kind of weird because they're not that different, but... Alright, so... I guess I can go over and test this real quick. Where is it? It's the model load manager, isn't it? How long have I been working on this game? Let's see. Probably, I think, 3 weeks now. I finally almost got finished working on the engine, so I hope soon I'll be able to start doing some art and game design. That's what it's the light at the end of the tunnel. Okay, yeah, so this get full path is what I want to test. Okay, so let's see. Let's just pick some random file. Show and explore. Okay, might as well, I guess we can just test this table of contents, so I'll get this file name. Games feel rewarding after a while, they really do. Well, and there's this part in the middle as well when things are unpolished, and to me it starts to, game design starts to like slog on a bit until you get past to that, so. Alright, it's not gonna like the backspaces, I think. At sign? Okay, so I want to see what it returns for that, and then let's do something. Okay, so this would be testing table of contents. Okay, and then if I insert in something like so streaming assets mods testing dot testing Testing table of contents. Well, this, I'm hoping that it will clean up this dot dot and kind of just remove this part, because I want them to be the same path. I don't know if that's what it's going to do, but hopefully. Sometimes it's simple, like, what's the issue? Forgot to assign it. That happens to me all the time. I'm sure that anyone who watched my streams would know that. I was starting out game design like 6 months ago. Oh well. That's I think that's the fun part about game design, is that it's always something new to try out, and the good thing is your skills kind of carry over. Alright, let's try this out and see what it prints. Alright, that's not it. Oh, good, it did collapse them out perfectly. Okay, so now we know that works. Perfect. So do you know how to save through scenes by chance? You mean like how to let players have a save file, or is something else in Unity? Okay, so that's done. I don't really want to do this multi-threading yet, so I'm going to move this down. Match mod names to folders. I think I'll wait to do that as well. Let's add a tag, because these are both asset loading. And this is like play stuff. Didn't ask me to color this one, did it? It's like in JRPGs, how you can save them, load back up. Well, I've kind of done something like that. I mean, unfortunately, there's no super easy way. Well, in Unity, there's something called the player prefs. You might look that up. Let's see. And you can save different information in here, and that way you don't have to try and write to a file. But if you have more complicated classes that you need to save, then you'd have to start using like serialization into a file stream. So you might look that up on in C# as well. Should get you started. Alright, so I think we're good there. So I did this. This is like... Okay, so we need to do that, but it's kind of out of... I'm trying to think of the right word. Not in our current roadmap. Alright, so I'm trying to decide what I want to do next. I guess we can move on to map generation, which will be kind of like the loading scene. It'll just be another simple scene. Okay, so I call it create game. Oh wait, no, that's... This should be like create lobby, shouldn't it? change that now before it gets too far, because it's going to confuse me if I call this create game. Is it creating the map? Is it creating the lobby? But this is actually the scene when you first start the game and you want to either join a game or whatever. Space Station Silicon Valley. This game was great. Okay, so yeah, map gen, this is what I was looking for. So it looks like I've already done a little bit of work. Like, this is how I implement save files. You just have all these different data types and it moves them into these other save files, and then from here you can serialize it. Let me see. Okay, save, here's to load. It's not super difficult, but if you're not used to working with files in C#, it is a little daunting. Anyway, this is what I'm going to move on to now. Okay, so I have all this pretty much old code that needs to be replaced. Okay, and I had created that object just to make sure it worked. Okay, so let's bring up my little diagram so I can get an idea of how this scene is going to go. Okay, so again, yeah, we have this timer. We'll do that later. So create the base map from mods just right away. Don't even need to try to synchronize. Okay, and then if there's an error at any point, we just exit the scene. Okay, so if we're generating a new map not from a game file or from a save file, then we just create an empty game state. Otherwise, we read everything from the save file. So then we set up, so yeah, basically we just set up a bunch of stuff. Yeah, then we have to simulate actions. Okay, and here we set the game state to the server. And the map. Okay, so it actually makes the map first and then the game state. Is that out of order? Oh well, no, because you need the map in order to place the monsters on it, so that's fine. Okay, and then if you have a save file, at this point you would take all the actions that have happened on that save file and simulate them. And the reason I do it that way is because that way we can reuse the save files as replays. So the save files basically save the initial state and then all actions that have happened. Alright, and then here's the important part. We make sure we're synchronized with the server. If so, we need to load. If not, we just skip that. Or if so, we do a ready check. And then here we request information to check the map and the game state. And once we got both, we verify it. And then here, if it's synchronized, we do another ready check, and then we move on. Okay. So not that difficult. Well, it is more complicated, but we won't implement. We'll basically just implement the structure for everything here. We might not do everything to the fullest. now that I think about it, does the loading flow manager deal with being disconnected? Okay, it does right here. I think I might just copy this and use it as a base. Excuse me about the sneeze. Oh, thank you. I had to blow my nose after that. Alright, so yeah, I'll copy this and let's make something in here. Okay, so this will be flow controller, or not controller, manager. Okay, so map gen. Okay, and I guess map gen controller. What am I doing as? Oh, okay, it's called map generation controller. Typed it all out. Okay, so let's add the map gen phase here. This will be an enumeration. Okay, so here, so create map, create game state, set up initial, simulate, send. Oh, this is all just all one. I think it is. How did I do that? Let's see. So in the play phase, for example, the ordering subphase. Okay, so I did have a send to server, and I guess that's the part that we did the ready check afterwards. So how does it know to skip that? Oh, okay, well the reason that's worked like this is because if the server is ahead of us, we won't send that information because it doesn't need it. And I guess that works the same here. Okay. Yes, I should... Well, we have this map check info. I guess it depends how we store that, huh? Because we might need to send ours to... Yeah, to update this. So I guess we still will do that. Okay, so how do I want to deal with this? Okay, so I guess I'll just go one by one. None. Create map. Read state. Setup. Setup state. Simulate actions. Send info. Then complete ready check. So setup, state, simulate, actions, send, generation, legend, ready check. Okay, so this is basically phase 1. Next, okay, so we already know that we're synchronized because we just came from the asset loading phase, and if we disconnected at any time, we'd just have been kicked out, so we don't need to check if we're synchronized again. Request map check info. Okay, so this would be get check info from server. Request check info. Yeah, then we actually check, and then we do the ready check. Okay. Check info, and then okay, that sounds a little redundant. And then the final is complete. We'll also have an error and a disconnect phase as well. Okay, so I mean, we could, if I really wanted to, move this into like a game state generation subphase and then a check subphase, but I don't know. It is useful when you get stuff really complicated like the play scene, but it's kind of a pain because I'd have to keep track of multiple states. So I think I'll try it flattened like this into one. Okay, and then I also need to make the map gen components. And this is another enumeration. Phase can be right there. So map gen comps phase. Okay, so I guess y'all need this stuff. Okay, and all this I'll comment it out because it might be similar, but here, some map gen phase, disconnect. Yeah, we won't have to dispose assets, so yeah, we won't need that. Okay, I think I call it disconnected. I'm just gonna standardize the names there. So here, some map gen phase, create map. And basically all these we won't know, but we still have the timeout, so I'll save this. And of course an error. The rest of these, I don't know exactly what it'll be called, so. Alright, got a couple more minutes, so. So the map generation controller, do I need to save any of this? Well, it does have some information, like we can use this to simulate the file. So I guess I'll keep it. But really we just need to create the new flow manager. Alright. I'll get rid of this because we won't need that for sure. So basically also at the very beginning we should see, make sure that we're connected. So I call that right there. Or I guess we'll check at this point actually. So if connection phase, connection state equals. I should do this also in the other phase now that I think about it. I mean in the assets loading. So otherwise we'll just skip right to disconnected. So I'll add this to the asset loading as well. And this is just if something weird happens and we get disconnected in between the scenes loading, which I'm not sure if that could even happen, but better safe than sorry. Let's get rid of that. Because now it moves to the crate map. I guess I'll just press play and see if everything works. So map gen phase equals phase. It's not very helpful. How did that even... Oh. I actually did map gen comps, I didn't even notice that. Alright, so now it moved to create map, and then we'd obviously do the controller to create the map. Alright, so how about... I guess we might as well add in, since we have support to load Lua now, we might as well just go ahead and load in a map creator script. Oh, but I'm actually out of time, so well, that's a good place to stop, I guess. We can do that tomorrow. Okay, so we'll do the simple map gen, and then I think once we finish this map generation, then we'll actually have the complete loading structure done. And I think then I might take a break from all this programming and maybe try to model something so we can have some nice looking maps. At least, well, nicer looking maps. Don't know exactly how much work I'll put into it, but yeah, it'll be really good to finally do some of that more fun stuff. Although I guess systems programming does have its charm, but anyway, thanks everybody for coming by and watching. I do appreciate it. I'll be back tomorrow around 8 Eastern. And the last couple days I've been a bit late, but I mean, it shouldn't always happen. Just I eat supper right before stream, so it's not always cooperative, but anyway. Alright, I hope to see you there. Oh, and if you did miss part of the stream, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel in the description, because I'll be uploading it in the morning. And of course, you can follow my Twitch stream here, and you'll be notified when I go live tomorrow. Alright, well, I hope to see you then. Bye-bye.